Let's simplify this problem. 3 minus 2 times the quantity 6 minus 4. So I've got a set of parentheses here. I'm going to work inside here first. So we'll get 3 minus 2 times 6 minus 4 is 2. Then I've got a subtraction and a multiplication. Now by the order of operations, we'll do the multiplication first. So we will get 3 minus, now 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 minus 4, that's a negative 1. In number 2, we've got a set of parentheses. Now this is a bracket, that's the same as a parentheses. But I've got an inside set of parentheses here. I'm going to work on that one first. So I'll just rewrite. I get 5 times this quantity, 1 minus 6, and then 7 minus 2. That's a 5. All right, now we're still going to work inside here. So let's multiply, right? What have we got here? We've got a subtraction and a multiplication. So we'll do the multiplication first. So we will have 5 times 1 minus 6 times 5 is a 30. 5 times, now 1 minus 30, that's negative 29. And 5 times, positive 5 times negative 129. Positive times negative is negative. That is 145. If you're not sure, use your calculator. Let's work in each one separately here. How about we do this one first? So we'll get 6. Now 2 minus 5 is a negative 3. And then we've got the plus 3. All right, that's that one. Minus, now what do we have over here? I'll work inside here. So I'm going to have 4 minus, now 6 minus 5 is a 1. All right, now inside this one, we got a multiplication and addition. Let's do the multiplication first. So we are going to have positive 6 times negative 3 is negative 18 plus 3 minus, now in this one here, 4 minus 1, that's a 3. Now over here, negative 18 plus 3 is negative 15, and then minus the 3. I think we end up with a negative 18 out of here. And just so you're sure, this one right here is a negative 15. Now, what is this? Okay, this is a change, subtraction to addition of the opposite. Right, I've got a subtraction here. But in subtraction, you change subtraction to addition of the opposite. The opposite of 3 is negative 3. And now I'm adding two numbers with the same sign. So I just add their absolute values, 15 and 3, and then put on the common sign. In number 4, what we have is a multiplication and then an addition. We'll do the multiplication first. Now, if you don't know what that is, use your calculator. First of all, it's positive times negative, so I know it's negative. 17 times 17 is 289. So I have a negative number, and I'm going to add 56. Now, negative 289 plus 56 is negative 233. Now, number 5, we're going to simplify both of these. This one on the left says to add, right, work in parentheses first. So I'm going to add the 8 and the 9, and then I'm going to square that result. Over on the other one here, the one on the right, I'm going to square first and then add. So let's take care of this one here. So in parentheses, we're going to have 8 and 9 is 17 squared, and 17 times 17 is 289. And on the right hand, we're going to square first, so I'm going to get 8 squared, right, let's take care of these. 8 squared plus 9 squared. So I'll get 64 plus 81. That gives me 145. And sure enough, those are not equal. So we can say then that 8 plus 9 squared is not the same as 8 squared plus 9 squared. All right, you cannot just send that square over to each one of these individuals. Now, in number 6 here, what have we got? We've got a subtraction, a multiplication, and a subtraction. So by the order of operations, we do the multiplication first. So we're going to have 5. Now, minus 6 times 3 is 18, and then minus 16. Now, let's do them 2 at a time, just as we encounter them. 5 minus 18, positive 5, minus 18 is negative 13, minus 16. Now, technically, this is negative 13. Right, what am I doing? I'm subtracting, so I change subtraction to addition of the opposite. Now, the opposite of 16 is negative 16. So now I'm adding two numbers with the same sign, right? I'm adding two negative numbers, so the result is going to be negative, and 13 and 16 is 29. In number 7, let's work inside these parentheses. And we have a multiplication and then a subtraction. So do that multiplication first. So we're going to get 7 minus 2 times 3 is 6, minus 12. 7 minus 6, well, that's a 1 minus 12. You're up 1, you lose 12, you're down 11. Okay, here in number 8, now these are a little hard to see. You know, if you look at these division signs, you have to look closely. They almost look like plus signs on my screen. But anyway, I've got a set of parentheses. I'm going to work inside here first. Now, I've got positive 42 divided by negative 7. Positive divided by negative is negative, so I'm going to get a negative. Now, 42 divided by 7 is 6, so I get negative 6. Now, I'm going to divide that by 1/4. Now, here's what I think you should do if you're working with fractions. Make everything a fraction. So this negative 6 here, I'm going to write that as negative 6 over 1. Now I'm going to divide that by 1/4. Now when you make a division of fractions, right, I've got one fraction divided by another fraction. So here's how I always learned it. I learned it like this. Invert and multiply. Right, or I'm multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to invert the divisor, this one, just flip it over and then multiply. So I'm going to get negative 6 over 1 times 4 over 1. Now multiply the tops together. Negative 6 times 4 over, multiply the bottoms together, 1 times 1. That gives me negative 24 over 1, which is just negative 24. Now this number 9, looks like we have a multiplication, a subtraction, and then an addition. Let's take care of the multiplications first. So I'm going to do this one, then this one. So 8 times 6, that's 48, minus 3 times 3 is a 9, and then I'm going to add 4. All right, now I've just got subtraction and addition, so I'll just do them as I look left to right. Now, 48 minus 9, 39, and then plus 4, that's 43. Number 10 looks interesting. What have we got here? Look what we have. We have a multiplication and an addition, and then a division and another addition. Okay, so as I look left to right, well, I have a parentheses first. Let's just work inside the parentheses. I'll work with this one, and then I'll work with this one. So this looks to me like it's going to be 8 times, now, 6 plus 9 is 15. Then I got to divide by 3 plus 2, which is a 5. All right, now as I look left to right, I see a multiplication and a division. So I'm going to just do these as I go left to right. So I'll take care of this one first. 8 times 15. Well, 8 times 15 is 120. I'm going to divide that by 5. 120 divided by 5 is 24. Let's work inside this set of parentheses first. Let's take the 9 minus 15, giving us a negative 6. So I'm going to have 6 times, now this is a negative 6, and then minus 2. I'm going to work inside that grouping symbol. I'll have that 6, right? Just bring that one down. Now negative 6 minus 2, you're down 6, and then you lose 2, so now you're down 8. Now it's a multiplication. And 6 times, positive 6 times negative 8 is negative 48. Got a big fraction here, number 12. Let's work with the top and the bottom separately. So on the top, I see I've got an exponent here, so I'm going to take care of that power, and then I'm going to work inside here, and then I'll take the absolute value. All right, so I'm going to work this one like this. 3 squared, okay, I'm going to work with this one first. All right, 3 squared, that's a 9, minus. Now, what about inside this absolute value? I got 2 to the 5th minus 12. Now, 2 to the 5th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? 5 2's there. That's a 32 minus 12, all right? That's as much I'm going to do on the top right now. Now, on the bottom, we're squaring and then subtracting. Let's square. So, in the bottom, I'm going to do that square, and that square. So, this is going to give us 49 minus 16 minus, now 1 raised to any power is just a 1. Okay, so I've simplified the top a bit and the bottom a bit. Now, let's take a look at this absolute value right here. Let's deal with this. 32 minus 12. Well, that's 20. All right, so we're going to get 9 minus the absolute value of 20 over Now, I'm just going to do these two at a time. So 49 minus 16 is 33 minus 1. Now, in the top, the absolute value of 20 is 20. So we are going to get 9 minus 20 over 33 minus 1, 32. And now, on the top here, 9 minus 20, that's negative 11. So I'll just do it over here. I'll get negative 11 over 32, and I don't think that's going to reduce, so I'm going to claim that that's my answer. Looks like we've got a lot going here in number 13, but if we take it piece by piece, we'll be okay. So I'm going to work with the top. I'll simplify as much as I can there, and then I'll simplify here. So in the top, I'm going to work in these parentheses here, and then these parentheses here. So let's do that. We're going to have 30 times, now 8 minus 3 is a 5, and then minus 4 times 10 minus 3, that's a 7. Now let's divide. Did a little bit of work on top. Let's work on the bottom. We'll have the 10, and this is the absolute value of 2 minus 7. Now 2 minus 7 is negative 5. And then minus 2 times, well, 6 plus 2 is 8. All right, so I've done a little bit on the top, a little bit on the bottom. Now on the top, I got a multiplication and a subtraction. So let's do the multiplications first. So 30 times 5 is 150 minus, okay, 4 times 7 is a 28 over, now what is this right here? I've got 10 times that. That's absolute value of negative 5, which is 5. So I'm going to get 10 times 5, and then minus 2 times 8 is 16. Now in the top, that 150 minus 28, you got a calculator, you can do that. That comes out to let me get it to right here. We'll get 122 divided by, now in the bottom here, we've got a 10 times 5, that's a 50, minus 16. All right, so let's take care of that one. About 122 over, now in the bottom, we get a 34. Now it turns out that this is going to reduce. Now, first of all, do you see it? Both these are even numbers, so I can divide each by 2. So divide each one by 2. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm going to take that 122, divide it by 2, and then I'll take the 34, divide it by 2. So I'm going to get 122 divided by 2 is 61 over 34 divided by 2 is 17, and I don't think we can go any further.